Today I'm doing a video tutorial for this flower crop top. I first found the design for this flower part of the top from a video by Belina Bellwood, and I'll link that below, and there's also another really good video by Nikita Nightingale, which I'll link as well. I've made so many things with this little pattern, but this is just a little design I made for the summer. It's just really cute and it's pretty easy and quick. So you're going to need like a lightweight 4-ply yarn. I use this Women's Institute Soft and Silky, it's alright, and I use 80 grams, which is less than one of these, but it depends how big yours is going to be, how much yarn you're going to use. You'll need a yarn needle, some stitch markers, some scissors, and a 3.5mm crochet hook. So just to show you the one that I made before, you can make this in any size basically, it just depends how many of these flowers you want going around. I did 6 all the way around for mine, but it's totally up to you if you want it tighter or fitter or a different size. It's, yeah, whatever you want. Before we start the tutorial, I have linked my Etsy below if you're interested in any of these patterns that you want to make yourself. I've also linked Ravelry, which has some free patterns on there. I do release a free pattern at the beginning of every month. This top here was my free pattern for May, so check that out if you want to have a written version as well. Follow my Instagram if you just want to see what I'm up to, what I'm making, and get announcements for more videos like this. And do subscribe to this channel because I will be uploading a lot more tutorials. So just a note before we start that I am using US crochet terms. Yeah, if you want to look up what I mean in other terms. So to start this, you just want to make a slip knot. So your starting chain can be any length, basically depends on how many flowers you want to do, as long as it's a multiple of 25, because that's how many stitches you need for each flower. Mine was 150 because I'm doing 6 flowers. And then, yeah, that's not twisted, and then you want to just put your hook into the first loop and just slip stitch into that one to connect those two, and that's basically going to be like the base circumference of the top. And so now we can start row 1, so you just want to chain 2, and for this first row it's just 1 double crochet into each stitch till the end of the row. So once you've completed your round of double crochets, just once you get back to the beginning, just slip stitch into the first double crochet to seam those together. So we are working in rounds for this one, which means that you don't turn the project at the end of each round, you just kind of keep going in the same direction. So for round 2, chain 2. And you just want to do 7 double crochets. It's up to you if that chain counts as 1. I'm gonna make that count as 1, so that's my first one. And I'll do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 there in total. And then chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches and double crochet into the third one. And that creates that gap there that will make this pattern on the bottom here. Now do 3 more double crochets, so there's 4 in total there. There's 4, and then chain 2, skip 2 and double crochet afterwards. So that's the bottom of the flower. Once you've created those 2 gaps, you want to do 17 double crochets, but that includes this one here. So now I have those 17 double crochets. I'm going to chain 2, skip 2 and crochet into the third one. Then 3 more, it's just exactly the same. So there's 4, chain 2, skip the next 2 and crochet, double crochet into that one. And that's, you just want to keep repeating that around until you've, for as many flowers as you're doing, with 17 double crochets in between them, including that one there. So after you've done your last little gap here, there should be 10 stitches left. So just do, or 10 including that one, so do 9 more double crochets. And then slip stitch again into the first stitch. To start the next round, chain 2 again. And this time you want 4 double crochets, and you should be here and just chain 2 and create another gap there, placing your next double crochet just here, just right before that gap below. Then place 2 double crochets into this chain space. And 1 more just in that stitch right after the chain space to create 4. Then create another gap here, just there. And then just the same, 2 double crochets into this chain space. And 1 into the first stitch after the chain space. And then you want to create 1 more gap here, so chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. And that's the repetition for this row for the flowers. So crochet up till 4 stitches before the next gap and do the same thing all the way around. So once you finish that round, slip stitch again. And for the next round, chain 2, but then chain another 2 more because we're just going to go straight into a gap here. So skip those 2 stitches and double crochet here. Now place 2 double crochets into this chain space. 1 in the first stitch after the chain space. And here we're actually going to chain 4. And we're going to place 1 treble crochet into this chain space, so you want to yarn over twice. Then chain 4 again. And double crochet into the first stitch before the next chain space. So that looks like that. Now place 2 double crochets into this chain space. And 1 into the first stitch after the chain space. And create 1 more gap here by chaining 2, skipping 2 and double crochet. And that's what that should look like there. So now crochet up to 4 before the next chain space and repeat that. So again, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet, 2 double crochets into the chain space, 1 double crochet just after. Now chain 4, treble crochet into this chain space, chain another 4, and double crochet into the first stitch before the next chain space, 2 double crochets into this chain space, one double crochet just after, chain 2, skip 2 and double crochet. So just repeat that pattern for every flower till you get back to the beginning again. So at the end of this row, you want to slip stitch again. It's a little tricky, just kind of push under that stitch there. And slip stitch through that. Then chain 2 for the next round and just go straight into the chain space with the 2 double crochets. And then 1 just after the chain space. And on this round you want to chain 5 here. And place 1 single crochet in this chain space right next to the post for that treble crochet below, like that. Then place a single crochet into that stitch, and then 1 more into this next chain space on the left of it. So it's like 3 there. Now chain 5. And then skip to here, double crochet into the first stitch before that next chain space. Then 2 double crochets into the chain space. And here, chain 2, and create a gap between these 2 flowers, just double crochet into the first stitch before that next chain space. And then repeat that for every flower, so 2 double crochets in the first chain space, 1 just after, chain 5, single crochet right next to that post, a single crochet into that stitch, and a single crochet again on the left, chain another 5, double crochet before the next chain space, 2 double crochets into that chain space, one double crochet just after the chain space, and then create 1 more gap between connecting the next flower. Just continue that all the way around. So like always at the end of that row, slip stitch into the first stitch. Should look like that. Now chain 2 for this next one, and then chain another 6. And we're going to go into this chain space here first and place 1 single crochet next to the center of the flower. And then 1 single crochet into the first stitch in the center, 1 into the next stitch, and then into the last stitch. So that's 3 single crochets into the center of the flower, and then 1 more in that next chain space on the left. Now chain 6. And skip over to the stitch before the next chain space and double crochet. And it should look like this. Now place 2 double crochets into that chain space, 1 into the stitch right after, and just do the same thing, so chain 6. 1 single crochet into this chain space, 3 into the center, 1 into this chain space, chain 6, and double crochet just before that next gap. Just repeat that all the way around. So again, at the end of this round, slip stitch into the chain. Now chain 2 And we're going to place 3 double crochets into this chain space on the right hand side, like right next to where we just chained 2. So then it's 4 in total, including that. Chain 2. And now chain 5. And place 3 single crochets into the center of the flower, into the like 3 central stitches. Now chain 5 again. And now place another 3 double crochets into this chain space on the left here. And then 1 into the first stitch after the chain space. Now we're going to create a gap, so chain 2, skip 2, double crochet, and just repeat. So 3 double crochets into the chain space, chain 5, 3 single crochets into the center, chain 5, 3 double crochets into this chain space, one double crochet into the stitch right after, chain 2, skip 2, and double crochet. And it should look like this after you do that, and just repeat that for every flower all the way around. Alright, so we're slip stitching into the next round, chaining 2, and then chaining another 2, because we're just going to do a gap right here. Just like that. Now, similar to the row before, we're doing 3 double crochets in this chain space on the right hand side. Now we're going to chain 4 this time, and we're going to do 1 treble crochet into that central stitch right there. Now chain another 4 and 3 double crochets into this chain space on the left. And 1 double crochet into the stitch right after it. Now we're going to create another gap, so chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. Now place 2 double crochets into this chain space here, and 1 into the stitch just afterwards, and just repeat that again all the way around. So starting off the next round, chain 2 and place 2 double crochets into that chain space, and 1 into the stitch just after. Then we want to create a gap just here, and now place 3 double crochets into this chain space on the right hand side, and chain 2. And then just skip over here and place 3 double crochets into that chain space on the left hand side. And then 1 double crochet into that first stitch right after the chain space. And then create another gap here. Now place 2 double crochets into this chain space and one after. And here we're not creating another gap in between those, you just want to crochet across there up to this stitch here right after that chain space. And then just repeat that. So for the next round, chain 2 and then crochet, double crochet all the way past this gap and into that one here. So and into that stitch here, and then we're just going to create another gap here, and then the 2 double crochets into this one. One into the stitch right after, and then one more gap, and then just continue double crocheting all along here and then make another gap there, just so it looks like this. So that's basically the flower part done. Just for the next round, chain 2 and just do 1 double crochet in each stitch, and wherever you come across a gap just do 2 double crochets into the chain space and then slip stitch at the end. So now that we've completed the flower panel of the top, we're going to go into the main bit, and just to kind of close up the stitches a bit, I did the rest with half double crochets. So you want to chain 1 for this round, and you just want to place 1 half double crochet in every stitch all the way around, and then just slip stitch at the end. If you don't know how to do a half double crochet, you just yarn over, pull up a loop, and then just pull through all 3 loops, that's all. And so you want to do actually 7 rounds of just half double crochets, and then we'll start on the next part of the top. So once you have those 7 rounds done, you just want to divide your original starting chain number by 4. So mine was 150, so mine number here is 37.5. Because that's a 0.5, I'm just going to round that up to 38. Then just grab a stitch marker, count along from where you are now to that stitch. So for me it's the 38th stitch, and place your stitch marker there. Okay, so that's going to be the center at the front. I'll show you. That's going to be this point here. From where your hook is, chain 1, and we want to do a half double crochet decrease. So starting in that stitch, you will yarn over and pull up a loop, and then instead of pulling through all of these straight away, pull up a loop in the next stitch as well, and you'll have 4 on your hook, and then pull through all 4 of those. And so that has decreased, turned 2 stitches into 1. And now just half double crochet up until like 2 stitches before this stitch marker. So now I'm 2 stitches before the stitch marker, and I'm going to do another decrease here. So pull up a loop there, and then another one up there, and pull through those 4. And now I'm going to chain, and I'm actually going to turn now for the first time. And just to create this piece, continue doing these rows where you start with the decrease and end with a decrease until you have 4 stitches left. So now I've done my decreases, as you can see, and I've got 4 stitches left. and what I'm going to do now is just chain 1 and turn over, and I'm just going to do 1 half double crochet in each of these stitches, and I'm going to do that 40 rows to create the strap. And at the end of each row, chain 1 and turn. So I've just finished my 40 rows for this strap here, and I'm just going to fasten that off, leaving the tail about this long just so I can use it to sew later. So that is the first side of that strap there, and now to create the other side, just using the number you had earlier for your starting chain divided by 4, count to the right that same number over there, and that's where we're gonna like attach our yarn for the next bit. So for me it was 38. So once you've attached your yarn, just chain 1 there, and now we're working this way, and we're just going to do the exact same thing that we did before. So half double crochet, 2 together, and then half double crochet till you are 2 stitches before this, and then do another decrease. So now I'm 2 stitches away from our stitch marker, and I'm just going to do another half double crochet decrease. And now I'll chain 1 and turn. And it's just the exact same thing, so starting and ending each row with a decrease, and then just half double crochet in between till you have 4 stitches. And then once you've reached 4 stitches, just 40 rows of half double crochet and then fasten off. Alright, so now I've got the 2 straps on the front. I mean, the whole thing is basically done now. Just need to sew the straps onto the back. Yeah, just lay it flat, and you don't have to be so precise about it. It's just a cute top. Fold those straps where you want them to be, and then what I find helpful to do is just to use a stitch marker to just put 1 stitch where you want it to be, so that you can pick it up and it'll stay where you want it to be. And then use the tail that you left earlier with your crochet needle to sew that on there. So once you've sewed those straps on, then the top is done. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and please tag nightmoon.studio on Instagram and your final ones. I really want to see how they came out, and comment what colour you're making it in, and have a good day.